Hi, Falcon Tech and College Now instructors. I'm here for yet another video, and this time we're going to be talking about discussion board. Specifically, at the end of the video, I'll show how to use the Desire to Learn discussion board, but the first part of the discussion board might be valuable to anyone using Schoology or Google Classrooms because discussion boards in all learning management systems operate, they function the same way, and the reason for using them is pretty cool and consistent across all platforms. And it might surprise you that there are more uses to a discussion board than just discussion. So my next slide, just talk to you for a few minutes about what you might use discussion boards for with your concurrent enrollment or PTech students. And then I will go into D2L and demonstrate how to set it up, etc. Okay, so I taught for a really long time online, and I'm currently in the middle of a 5-year break from it. So, want to remind you that discussion boards are good for a lot of things. Obviously, you can have students read an article, read something in the textbook, and respond. I might also add that it's a really good idea to look at some of the annotations that the textbook editors put in the instructor copy of the textbook, or even if you don't have a copy of the instructor copy, to look at questions and other exercises or other writing prompts or other projects or images in the textbook, and ask students not just to do discussion on what they're supposed to be reading, but answering those questions and doing other activities. And I really encourage you to use the textbook as much as possible so that you are prepping less and having the students use their textbook more. And it's one thing that I know, college students specifically, most College Now students have to buy, Falcon Tech students do not have to buy, but College Now students do have to buy their own textbook for the course. So it's a really cool way to show students how valuable the textbook is, to make them go into the textbook and use some of the exercises in the textbook and complete those exercises on the discussion board. So it can be for more than just discussions. You can have them provide peer feedback to one another, and I don't mean just responding to each other's discussions, like having them practice something and getting feedback from someone other than you. There are other people in the course to teach them. This is reinforcing the idea that learning is a social activity. So having another peer give feedback and you having to take the steps absolutely to establish how feedback is to be given, like that protocol has to be put in place. Those expectations have to be made to students. So, peer feedback is a great way to have students use the discussion boards other than just responding to an article. Think about all the times you've had students go to the whiteboard to practice something in class and use a discussion board as if it's the whiteboard and having them practice problems. Any kind of problem solving activity would work really well in this context. Think about the handouts that you've given in class and asking them to do that work on the discussion board and having them turn it in a public way, and then pair that with peer feedback. You're going to give them points for completing the assignment. Maybe you're even going to grade that assignment more specifically than just assessing and telling them what you noticed about their work. So think about how you can use any of these things that I'm suggesting in combination with one another to mix it up. Maybe one week do just the handout completion on the discussion board. I don't recommend that you allow students to attach those things because it creates extra clicks for everybody to have to open a file. What if the file's not compatible? Having them actually do all of the steps of the handout activity in the discussion board rather than just attaching the file. And then last but not least, and I sort of already mentioned this probably, but practicing some kind of skill, again, in combination with something from the textbook, but having them practice critical thinking or having them practice writing. I'm just thinking of random things, writing an email in a professional tone and those kinds of things, just making the discussion board a place where it's not just conversation, but it's also practice with the content and the skills of your course. All right, so let me get into D2L. I'll try not to spend too much time. We're already at the 5-minute mark in this video, so want to let you, watch something briefly. You notice I'm in my live English 122 section that I teach on Saturday mornings. This was a face-to-face campus class, and it's now a remote learning class. And so we have started using the discussion board, and we weren't using it before. It's become a part of the online experience of the class. So I already have a forum set up. If you want to set up a new forum or a new topic, you do that here. I'm going to go ahead and edit this forum. It will look exactly the same way it does when you set up a new forum. So I don't need to set up an additional one. So when you're setting up a new one or editing, you always put your title. I'm going to go ahead and change my title here, discussion board for second 8 weeks of spring 2020. I've decided to use my forum as, so I have to stop and say, D2L will not allow you just to create a topic. You're going to have to set up at least one forum. And I've in the past set up separate forums and corresponding topics for every topic I want students to use on the discussion board, which is a pain in the rear, quite frankly, for students. And I'll show you why in a minute. But visually, there's a lot of space taken up by the forum and very little space taken by the topics, and they get confused visually what's happening. And I've even heard from instructors saying to me, I don't understand what the setup of this dumb discussion board is in D2L. And I agree that it's a design flaw. It's not very easy to see what's happening. So I'm going to use my one forum. I'm going to set up one forum, and then I'm going to set up multiple topics. I'm going to be very clear in my title that this is the one discussion board forum for the whole semester. That's why I've added some words in here. Then you see I've added some instructions about so I'm revising my instructions. So you can see you can do this kind of thing when we return from break. And then I can leave this because I haven't told what we're doing. I'm going to keep a log right here in this section of all the tasks we do on this discussion board. So I'm trying to use my learning management system not just as a place to receive their assignments and provide them feedback, but I'm also trying to keep a record of everything that we've done. And there's a lot of redundancy in remote learning. So there's going to be the one thing that you tell them each week about all the tasks or all the assignments due for the week. And then the redundancy that I'm speaking of is in me keeping track of everything we've done each week. And so I'm going to make a list there. That's what I'll have to do each time. So I don't think that's anything else I don't have to do. Save and close. So just giving you some tips as I'm showing you functionality of the discussion board as well. So you'll see that my instructions are there and my changes up there. And this is the form I'm talking about. Look how much space it takes. And I know if I didn't have so much instruction that it wouldn't take so much space, but I want students to know what we're doing with this discussion board. So I have this maybe lengthier introduction. Then at the bottom, you say I have 2 different topics. The first, and I'm going to add many topics here. So this is like one of I'm going to probably have one each week that I'll actually use with students when we do a synchronous class meeting in WebEx. I'll ask students to log in and find the forums that I'm talking about. So I'm not asking them to do this work as homework or asking them to log in extra. I'm asking them to do synchronous, and then they'll practice with some of the asynchronous tools while we're in class. So I have one public forum set up so far because we've had one live class meeting in WebEx, and then I'm going to ask them to do some private journaling as well. So you can set this up for private journaling. You have to actually set up groups to do that first. So I'll make a video on groups a little bit later. So that's what I have so far. And as I need to add a new topic to this forum, check out what I'll do. I'll type in the name of my new topic at the top after I choose a forum. And so I have to choose the forum that I want the topic associated with each time I set up a topic. It's open for everyone. I could do a group one, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make this, whole class, and then I would type my title here. I don't have a title yet. I'm just demonstrating more instructions here. Blah blah. Oops, wrong spot. But you get the sense for what's going on here. I could allow anonymous posts if I want to. Maybe during a week where I want some honest feedback, I can do that. But I think I'm going to probably steer away from anonymous posts since I'm going to do a private journal where I'll ask them to put their journals in some way. So we did have a course journal, so this was a transition for them, that the paper journal that we kept and we used every week in class now is online. So that's what I'm using this tool for in lieu of the paper journal. And then these ratings are not for you as the instructor, but they're something you can allow students to do, and it might be something you ask them to do, to rate people's discussion board posts so that folks are getting feedback on the quality of their work. Students are getting feedback on the quality of their work from others, not just you. Okay, so that's how that is all set up. I'm going to hit cancel because I don't want to add that for them, but you saw how to do it. And then I am going to show you one more thing, and it is, oops, sorry, cancel. Don't save. Sorry, I think I clicked on the wrong thing. I want to show you one more thing here, and it's I'm going to go into a forum and show you how to set up. So I'm going to edit an existing one, but if you were setting up, you could do the same thing, setting up a new topic. I want to show you how to set up grading from the discussion board. So you click on assessment. You have to have a grade book column set up already. If you don't, you have to go out, set up the gradebook column, come back in, edit this. I'm going to make it a score out of 5. I could add a rubric if I want to, but I'm not going to, and I'll show you why in a minute. Allow assessment of individual posts, yes. And then let's see. I'm going to actually say no on that. I don't want to worry about that. I just want to be able to give them their score. So what I'm doing is attaching it to the grade book. When I save and close this, when I go into their discussion board topic, I should be able to, so I'm going into the topic right now. So you'll see that I was able to respond to everyone. And when I open Chloe's post, I will choose assess for more actions. And I've already responded to her actual post, but this is where I'm evaluating the quality of the work and giving her feedback. So I will be able to give her a score, and I will be able to enter feedback here. And when I click save, that will post here for her. She can access the grade here from the discussion board, and she will also be able to get that feedback from the grade book. When she clicks on her points earned in the grade book, she would get this feedback. So if you've ever used the grade book in D2L for grading and have used the feedback tool it's on the right hand side when you're entering points for assignments, that's where this will post. It's just giving me the ability to not have to go to 2 different locations, once in the discussion board and once in the grade book. And it makes it a less manual process, even though there's still a lot of steps involved and it's still a lot of screen time for us to enter all of these things. At least I don't have to give feedback here and then still have to go to the grade book and take care of, entering those points. All right, so I'm going to close because I don't want to assess Chloe in front of you or anything. I just wanted to show you how that works. And if you have any questions about the discussion board, please let me know. I'm happy to chat with you this week as you're setting things up. Let me know if you need a one-on-one consultation to talk about how to select assignments, how to bridge assignments from a face-to-face delivery to a remote learning delivery. I'm happy to help you with that. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and talk to you soon.